Welcome back to our GitHub Copilot usage-based billing series, brought to you by Canarys. We've now reached the final module of our GitHub Copilot usage-based billing series. In the previous module, we learned how to successfully transition to usage-based billing. We explored migration best practices, optimizing AI credit consumption, monitoring usage, and adopting AI more effectively across teams. In this final module, we'll bring everything together by understanding how to measure the return on investment, or ROI, of your GitHub Copilot adoption. We'll learn how to connect AI credit usage with developer productivity and business value, helping you demonstrate the real impact of your AI investment. Let's get started. In the previous module, we learned how to transition successfully to usage-based billing and optimize AI credit consumption. The next logical question is, how do we know if that investment is actually paying off? That's where ROI comes in. Return on investment measures whether GitHub Copilot is creating measurable business value. It starts with the investment in Copilot, improves developer productivity, translates that into business outcomes, and ultimately helps us understand the return we're getting. Now let's look at what actually creates that ROI. Now that we understand what ROI is, let's talk about why it matters. Organizations don't invest in GitHub Copilot simply to consume AI credits. They invest to improve developer productivity and create measurable business value. ROI connects those pieces together. It links your GitHub Copilot investment with productivity improvements and ultimately the business outcomes those improvements create. It also helps answer important business questions, such as whether the investment is paying off, which teams are seeing the greatest return, where AI adoption is having the biggest impact, and which workflows still have room for improvement. So before calculating ROI, let's first understand what actually creates it. So what actually creates ROI? ROI doesn't happen simply because GitHub Copilot is enabled. It comes from using Copilot effectively. Developers need well-structured prompts, relevant context, the right AI model for the task, and consistent adoption across the team. These inputs lead to higher quality suggestions, more accepted recommendations, and greater time savings. Those productivity gains translate into measurable business value, which ultimately drives a stronger return on investment. The next question is, how do we measure whether this value is actually being created? Let's look at the key metrics that matter. Once we understand how ROI is created, the next step is measuring it. Looking at AI credit consumption alone doesn't tell the full story. Instead, we should focus on three categories of metrics. First is adoption, which shows whether developers are actively using GitHub Copilot and its AI capabilities. Second is efficiency, where we measure metrics such as suggestion acceptance, AI credit consumption, and model usage to understand how effectively Copilot is being used. Finally, we measure value, including estimated time savings, developer productivity gains, and the business outcomes those improvements create. Together, these metrics provide a complete picture of ROI, not just how much AI is used, but how much value it delivers. Now let's connect these metrics into the complete journey from GitHub Copilot investment to measurable business value. We've now seen the metrics that matter. The final step is understanding how they connect together. Every ROI journey starts with the investment in GitHub Copilot. As developers adopt Copilot and use it effectively, they accept more AI suggestions, save valuable development time, and become more productive. Those productivity gains ultimately translate into measurable business value. From a leadership perspective, these are the questions that matter most. Are our teams becoming more productive? Are developers accepting Copilot suggestions? Is AI reducing development effort? And most importantly, is our GitHub Copilot investment delivering measurable business value? This complete value chain is what transforms GitHub Copilot from an AI tool into a measurable business investment. Congratulations! You've completed our GitHub Copilot usage-based billing learning series. Throughout these 12 modules, we've explored the complete journey, from understanding why usage-based billing was introduced, to learning how tokens and AI credits work, managing pooled credits, configuring governance and budgets, monitoring AI usage, improving prompts and context, using /commands and agent mode effectively, selecting the right models, adopting migration best practices, and finally measuring business ROI. You now have the knowledge to make smarter AI model choices, optimize AI credit consumption, apply governance and budgeting best practices, improve developer productivity, and measure the business value created by GitHub Copilot. Thank you for joining us throughout this series. We hope these modules help you maximize the value of your GitHub Copilot investment. Happy coding, and thank you for watching.